So, our Age of Mythology got the final known expansion for the game, which was the Japanese DLC. And I'm very excited. I'm going to showcase what's all in the game currently, what's currently being worked on, and talk about, the potential future of the game. First off, we're going to go with the obvious one, campaign. So you have the Fall of the Trident, which is like the very base campaign of the game. If you played Age of Mythology in the past, you got this. Although it's a bit different because the way they did god powers in this game is different from how it used to be. God powers in the previous games, you use it once and you're done. There were some god powers, I think, from the Atlantean ones where you could actually use multiple times. But for the most part, it's one and done. In this game, they reworked it that there is no max favor cap. So basically, Zeus does not have 200 favor and everyone else only can have 100 favor. You could have thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of favor generated, theoretically, if you wait long enough. And the cost of reusing your god powers seems to double every time for the higher ones. The lower ones, I think it goes up a bit more slowly. If you get a wonder, it reduces the cost of the god powers that you're utilizing by, I think it was like half or something like that. It was by a significant amount. And, for example, like your tier 4, I think first time it's free, second time it's 400 favor, second time it's 800, then it's like 1200, 1600, 2000, 2400, and it just keeps going up. So that can add to a lot of replay value in the campaigns alone. Here are the DLC campaigns. So you have New Atlantis, 10 years after the destruction of Atlantis, survivors attempt to rebuild their civilization. The Golden Gift. You have follow the story of Arcantos, the Atlantean. Oh, I see what's happening. That's right here. So it says recommended. This is the Fall of the Trident. This is the base campaign as well. And then you have the 2 DLCs right here. One of them's the Chinese one, one of them's the Japanese one. And that's pretty much it. You also have these mythical battles, which I haven't really looked into. That's another little extra game mode right there. I'm not sure exactly how much you get out of that because, like I said, I haven't played it. Skirmish. Skirmish is what you remember from the previous one. Add a bunch of AIs. Goes up to 12 there. Or other players too. And you get to actually choose what AI your enemies get. So if you wanted no AI, so they just stand there and do nothing, you can pick that. You can click random. You have Builder, which is actually kind of cool. It'll actually build and try and cover the whole map and buildings. That's honestly pretty cool. Retaliator, which I assume, based on what that says on screen, it will not attack you first, but once you attack it, it's going to attack back. I'm not sure if it'll continuously attack you after that, or if, let's say, you attack once, they'll attack you once. And then they won't attack you again until you attack them again. And then I think that's how it works, but I'm not 100% sure. Then you have the mythical one, which last I tried this. This is a while back, so they may have fixed it since then. This is supposed to focus on mythical units. So, like, in my head, I thought the vast majority of the army is going to be myth units that I'm going to go up against, which sounds cool. Obviously they won't be able to build as big of an army, so maybe I go up against 3 or 4 enemies, or maybe 2 or 3, depending on the difficulty, and they'll just send myth units at my bases, and that's it. Sounds cool. Nah, they send mostly humans, last I checked. Hopefully they fix it since I played it. This is like earlier in the year. This is like early 2025, if I want to say. Maybe even late 2024, early 2025 is when I was playing this game. But yeah, really cool. If you want to take a look at the pantheons, you got the Japanese, Chinese, Greeks, Egyptians, Norse, and Atlanteans. So it's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 19 total individual gods or factions that you can choose from. Or maybe not factions, because that would be considered a faction. Like leaders, gods, whatever the heck you want to call them. You get that many to choose from. If we get another expansion or mini content, you might see some of these other ones get another additional one. Like a lot of people's like, oh, the Norse got one extra one. Hopefully Atlanteans get one, Egyptians get another. So each one of them has 4. Or if they go to the route of they just give us another faction at some point in the future, then it would bring it up to like 22. So there's that. Like this one. This is a new one. This is a Japanese one. Tsukiyomi, Susanoo, and Amaterasu, I think is that. I'm probably butchering that. Chinese one, I'm not even... Is that Fuxi? Nua? And Shenong, I'm assuming. I'm probably butchering them. Not them, but like their name. But yeah. So those are like the new ones that we got. I think this was the other newer one. If you've played Extended Edition, you might not know them. Freyr isn't this one. But yeah. That's pretty much it for the factions or pantheons. This is the newer game mode. This is where I'm drawing a lot of my interest in focus. This is offline. This is offline mode. You can play it. This is where you can play solo or co-op. However, last I checked, even when you're playing solo, there's no offline component to this game mode, which sucks. I think it's the worst decision they've... probably the very worst aspect about this game, honestly. There's very little to complain about from me personally, but that's one of the bigger ones. I did the story mode of this, and as you can see, all of them are done on hard mode, right there. That's page 2. So, then you got obviously page 1, same thing. And then you got the gauntlet mode. This is currently in beta, but it says battle your way through a labyrinth of increasingly difficult skirmish matches with randomized settings, world twists, and rewards. So this is basically a roguelite mode. You got 3 lives. That means if you were to, let's like, click on this, beat it, go here, get defeated, well, now you lost a life. And let's just say you go down here some more. Say there's another one here, another one there, another one there. And then you get to here, and this one's really challenging, and you lose another life because you failed that. It's like, okay, what if I try down here, and you keep going down here? You get to somewhere around here, or maybe here, and you lose again. You lost your final life. Everything resets. And then you go again. However, if you are able to beat this, your reward will be King Fullstag Legend Eternal. Start with the Glacier King Fullstag. So that's pretty cool. And apparently it will actually carry over to your next run. Apparently there's some rewards that you can carry over to your next run. You also will earn favor, which apparently allows you to buy something like when you're going into here. I haven't fully experienced this because I haven't played it yet. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This is like a really good game mode. If it gets fleshed out, I think this could be a game mode where, whether you're playing by yourself or with friends, could be something that you could come back to and play constantly because it's always changing. And you also obviously have levels. You know, the higher level you get, the more stuff you unlock. And apparently there's legends. I haven't come across what they mean by legends yet. But if you, there's 6 legends. I think you start off with Caster, and then there's like 5 other legends that you unlock, which I think is like probably like some kind of faction or something. I would guess. I don't know yet, but that's really freaking cool. Also, when you pick the difficulty level for your run, it will not, you cannot change it. So basically, it'll stay standard difficulty through the whole time. Where the difficulty increases, I think, is actually in the amount of enemies you face. Like, for example, if you look at the victory condition for this last one, it's King of the Hill. It's lightning game mode, which means it's going to be really fast. And it's just you versus 2 teams of 2. So that means you will face off against the Egyptian goddess and another goddess, it looks like, and then you're going to face off against, I think that's Loki and another god. Now, the two other groups could attack each other, but they could also both decide to attack you, which means you could be defending against 4, depending on how the map is designed. What does it say? Which map? No, it does not. Not on here, anyways. Victory conditions: sudden death, King of the Hill, I'm not going to say that one. King of the Hill, Conquest. So yeah, you have different game modes. That honestly is very cool how they handled that. So yeah, that should spice things up a bit. So overall, the game seems to be in a really good spot. Since that is in beta, I think the developers think they'll be able to continue updating for it, because one of the biggest worries by some of the people on Reddit, in particular, I didn't see it really much anywhere else, but they're worried that the player-based numbers might not be good enough for them to do content, and I think that's not the number you want to look for this kind of game. And the way the business model for this works, they're not more interested in what your player-based numbers are. They're more interested in how much or how well the DLC sells, or how well the game sells. If they're continuously getting money and more people buying the game, even if they're not all playing at the same time, they only peak around the time they release new content or a new update, then that's going to be fine for them. I don't know what they want for a level of success, or what Microsoft wants for a level of success, but if you're meeting that amount, even if at some times there's only 3,000-4,000 people playing, they will continue to make content for it until, they decide to move on to something else. So I think at some point they will stop. But let's just say if they do another 2 or 3 expansions for this, I think that would be a really good spot. And if they continue to expand upon these different game modes, or expanding upon Arena of the Gods, I think over time this game could actually build up its player base just from the Arena of Gods, like roguelite content. Because then you could say, hey, I'm looking for a good roguelite RTS game. Well, buy Age of Mythology. There's this game mode called Arena of the Gods. Play it. Now, the only downside is it's online only if you're playing solo. That kind of hurts the potential sale possibilities for this game. If you say, hey, if you play a co-op, it's online only. But if you're playing solo, you can play the roguelite game mode, offline. You don't have to worry. I think that would increase the amount of people potentially wanting to buy it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully that covers pretty much everything that's in the game. If you want to see some gameplay, you can probably check the trailers out. I do have some gameplay of me playing it. I don't know how earlier this year, I think, is when I was uploading a lot of videos related to Age of Mythology. So, yeah. Anywho, that's it. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section below, and hopefully, if I don't, someone else will have the answer, available for you, and hopefully we'll answer your question. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.